Calaroga Shark Media.
From New Jersey, where our electric bill is so high, we must just start mailing you the text of the podcast. This is Ballot.
My bill is so high, I almost stopped wondering if Trump is in the Epstein files. A cat named Leo, who's earned the nickname Leonardo da Vinci because he's an actual cat burglar. And when I say cat burglar, I don't mean he's sneaking around in a black mask stealing diamonds. I mean he's a cat who steals things, which is somehow both more innocent and more annoying than actual burglary. Leo is a 14-month-old Tonkinese who has brought home about 150 stolen items in the past 9 months. 150 items! That's more than most actual burglars steal in a year. This cat is running a one feline crime spree that would make the Pink Panther jealous. His owner, Helen North, describes Leo's criminal methodology. He brings home a lot of things. He doesn't do much with them once they're inside. He just dumps them on the floors and just goes about his business. So Leo is basically running a very inefficient theft ring where he steals things and then immediately loses interest. That's like being a bank robber who breaks into the vault, grabs all the money, and then leaves it in the parking lot because something shiny caught your eye. Leo's specialty is underwear and socks, but he's not picky. North lists his recent hauls: a really expensive jersey with the tag still on, stuffed toys, loads of underpants and socks, gardening gloves, activewear, hats, sports bras, shorts, East Coast Bays rugby socks, an All Blacks jersey, everything. Leo is like that friend who goes to Costco for milk and comes home with a kayak, a 60-pack of toilet paper, and 3 types of cheese they've never heard of. Except instead of Costco, Leo's shopping at other people's clothes lines. Apparently, Sundays are Leo's prime crime days because that's when neighborhood clothes lines are most populated with easily reachable items. So Leo has figured out the optimal schedule for his criminal enterprise. He's basically running a data-driven theft operation. That's either impressive strategic thinking or proof that cats are way smarter than we give them credit for. The largest thing Leo ever brought home was a 5-foot-long stuffed Trapode snake. 5 feet! That's bigger than most actual snakes. And he brought it home twice, which means that Leo really, really liked that snake. Or he's trying to send a message to the neighborhood about his territorial ambitions. North uses WhatsApp groups and Facebook to help neighbors reclaim Leo's stolen goods, so there's apparently a whole social media infrastructure dedicated to Leo's crime spree. That's very 21st century, using technology to solve problems created by a cat with kleptomania. Sources close to President Trump say he's never met this cat, which raises important questions about Leo's security clearance and whether his crime spree represents a threat to national security, or at least New Zealand's national sock supply. The Washington Post reports on a mystery that's been bothering people across the eastern United States this summer. Why did their electric bills suddenly jump? In Trenton, New Jersey, the typical home bill rose $26. In Philadelphia, $17. In Pittsburgh, $10. And in Columbus, Ohio, $27. Mine, $400. Most people had no idea why their bills were climbing. Vicki Miller, a retired secretary in Columbus, summed up the confusion perfectly. I never know why it goes up. Well, now we know the culprit, and the answer might surprise you. The reason your electric bill went up isn't because you're using more air conditioning or because energy companies got greedier. Your bill went up because artificial intelligence is really, really hungry for electricity. Those massive warehouses full of computers that power AI, cloud computing, and other big tech services, called data centers, are consuming enormous amounts of electricity. And as companies like Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Amazon build more of these facilities, the skyrocketing demand for power is driving up prices for everyone. In Columbus, households are now paying about $20 more per month or $240 a year, specifically because of demand from data centers. $240. That's like being charged an annual AI tax for services you might not even use. Alicia Tolbert from Columbus, who does merchandising for department stores while her husband drives trucks, put it bluntly, it's definitely not fair. I really can't afford it. Carrie Killingsworth, who works in financial services, was even more direct. The big tech companies suck up the electricity, and we end up paying higher prices. I'm not comfortable with average customers subsidizing billion-dollar companies. And honestly, that's exactly what's happening. Some of the richest companies in the world are building massive computer farms, and regular people are getting stuck with the electric bill just so some snark-wise ass can use AI to write jokes. That's like Jeff Bezos throwing a party and sending the catering invoice to his neighbors. Here's how this works. Electricity markets are complicated, but in this case, the math is pretty straightforward. Utilities have to make sure they have enough power available for peak demand days. The really hot summer days when everyone cranks their air conditioning, this is called capacity, and utilities bid for it in annual auctions. Last year, capacity prices in the auction covering 13 states and Washington, D.C. rose by 833%. That's not a price increase, that's a price explosion. And according to an independent monitor's report, about 3/4 of that jump came from demand from existing and planned data centers. This year's auction increased capacity prices by another 22%, which means more bill increases are coming. So not only are you paying more now, you're going to pay even more later. That's the gift that keeps on giving if the gift is financial stress. The states affected by these increases include Delaware, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, North Carolina, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia. So if you live in any of those places and wondered why your electric bill jumped, congratulations! You're helping subsidize the AI revolution and my writing team.
What if everything you've been taught about happiness is wrong? We chase careers, approval, more stuff, hoping it'll finally make us feel fulfilled, but it never sticks. What if happiness isn't out there, but already inside you, just waiting to be unlocked? Discover the book, The Happiness Experiment. Every person has a unique happiness type, and when you understand yours, everything shifts. You'll stop chasing and start creating joy on your own terms. Discover your happiness type with a free happiness type assessment. Go to myhappinnesstype.com. That's myhappinnesstype.com. It takes just a minute and it might change your life. Then grab your copy of The Happiness Experiment at Books A Million. This isn't just a book, it's a practical framework, a journey inward. It's a tool to help you reconnect with the happiness that's been waiting inside you all along. Pick up The Happiness Experiment and start your happiness experiment today.
I think Jay Leno just figured out why nobody likes my show. It turns out that instead of making fun of both sides, I'm supposed to make fun of neither side. Leno has some thoughts about today's late-night television, and they basically amount to, "You kids need to get off my comedy lawn." The former Tonight Show host told the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation that current late-night hosts are too political and alienate half the audience by cozying up to one side or the other. Leno's main complaint is that modern hosts, Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jon Stewart, John Oliver, and Seth Meyers, are giving their political opinions instead of just making everyone laugh. I like to think that people come to a comedy show to kind of get away from things, Leno said. Now you have to be content with half the audience because you have to give your opinion. Which is rich coming from a guy who interviewed President Obama on The Tonight Show in 2009. But apparently, that was different because reasons. Leno asked, why shoot for just half an audience all the time? Why not try to get the whole audience? Which sounds reasonable. Until you remember that Leno hosted during a time when the biggest political scandal was whether the president wore boxers or briefs. These days, political comedy writes itself because politics has become inherently absurd and, well, it's written by AI.
From the creators of Palace Intrigue, a new chapter in royal history begins. William and Kate's wedding captures the world's attention, but royal life isn't as perfect as it seems. Tensions rise as Harry meets Meghan, sparking a divide that will shake the monarchy to its core. From explosive interviews to family scandals, the royal family faces its most public challenges ever. As King Charles takes the throne, the future of the monarchy hangs in the balance. Family secrets, royal rifts, and the future of the crown. Crown and Controversy, wherever you get your podcasts.
From Calaroga Shark Media comes Celebrity Trials, the explosive new podcast that exposes the truth behind America's most captivating cases. I'm Reed Carter, and I'll take you inside real-live daily trials and classic celebrity cases where fame, power, and justice collide. From Jeffrey Epstein's billion-dollar sex trafficking empire to the prep school killer who walked free, from family annihilators to celebrity plea deals, discover the shocking verdicts, twisted evidence, and cultural forces that shape American justice. These aren't just crimes, they're cultural moments that reveal who we really are. Justice isn't always swift, but it's absolutely riveting. Celebrity Trials, available wherever you get your podcasts.
You know the silhouette, the squint, the voice that cuts like a blade. Clint Eastwood isn't just a movie star, he's a myth, a mayor, a cultural fault line, and maybe the last great American icon. Eastwood Reloaded tells his story one chapter at a time. The hits, the flops, the chaos between the scenes. Because legends aren't born, they're built. Eastwood Reloaded. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.